Yo, welcome back to Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. My name is Dylan. I'm going to show you guys some off-centered baseball cards in my collection. There's something to be said for certain cards that, either have a meaning to you. You don't want to sell them for that reason. Not everyone needs to upgrade their cards. I was buying doubles, and I talked about what I was buying for years and years. And, there's cards that I have that are off-centered that I'm not going to sell. And there's cards that I have off center that I'm not going to sell right now because I'm not willing to take the chance of selling it and not being able to find one that looks, that just has that, it's like, wow, that's a nice card. Like, I don't want to spend $2,000 to replace a couple of these cards and then, and sell mine first. So some of these, yeah, I'll probably end up replacing one day. But until then, there's something to be said for these cards, and they're beautiful. And anyone who collects them, dude, we all have things that we just obsess over. And so I'm going to show you guys some of those. I got like 6 of those to share. Then I got a little mini VR from my buddy Eddie, Cardboard Chaos. Just a short one because my friend John, shout out, John 380's kid, stole my guy, Sam Rice. I already had my cards pulled for this VR. It's about major leaguers who overcame adversities, and Sam Rice, I read a book about Sam Rice. He's in the book. I don't know when, years ago. In one of my first videos on YouTube, or at least the first few, there was a video about Sam Rice and what happened to his family, and I love that other people collect them, and I'm not taking credit for John. I don't think John ever knew I did a video about Sam Rice or anything. But I love seeing guys that talk about Sam Rice because of the story, and it blew my mind. So when John said it, I'm going to link you guys to his channel when I get to the card, because I'm not going to talk about the story. I'm going to just share one card that he didn't have, and then he tells it so good, and it's dead accurate, and it's a good way for me to shout out my buddy John, because I love watching John talk about cards and the way he's collecting. I mean, I don't miss a single show of John 380's kid because it's fun to hear. He started collecting vintage, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I think 2 years ago. And the way he went about it, and now he's adjusting himself, changing his collection. It's fun to watch. And in all reality, his videos are just pure fun. He does pullaways of vintage, all kinds of things, stuff I grew up watching. So it's just like, to me, like, invented that aspect of videoing, and I enjoy it. So, man, I know I talked a lot about John on that one, but I got a cool card I want to share. And then I got 4 other random cards to share with you guys. Really sick cards. So first we'll do off-center cards need love too. Shout out to Lou Rock TV. First card is, it's like a kind of a no-brainer on, like, I'm not selling this card. I'll never, ever, ever... Hold on, let me adjust this light here. I'm never going to upgrade this card. This is a card I bought at a park. Literally, like, my buddy Dennis, he brought his collection to the park. I talk about him all the time. And he had this card in there. I go, well, I'm going home with that card. So I put it aside. Like, it was literally at a kid's park. It was so funny. We were dealing baseball cards. He had this. I was like, what? That's insane. I pull it out, and I was like, that's going on with me, just so you know. So whatever you want for that, we're going to discuss it, and I want it. Literally something of those words. And I think I paid $200. And I know it's off-centered, and it doesn't bother me a single bit. It's black and white. Black and white cards are so cool because you really can get these things beat up, and they look the same. There's some that have a more vibrant black and white than this one. This one looks really good. And it's Honus Wagner, like, one of the greatest shortstops, greatest baseball players of all time in history. I always thought before I started reading books, when I was a kid, that it was more about the card being rare and expensive, the T206 card, than him being, dude, one of the greatest players ever in history, top 10 of all time. until I was reading books and, and now I go on StatCast and all that good stuff because of YouTube. Got me involved in YouTube got me more in Hall of Fame stuff, but I just go deeper into these guys because of YouTube, rather than just hearing about Hannes Wagner in books and how big his legs were, and he was like a oxen, and he was an incredible player. So I love this card. Never gonna leave my collection. It's not perfectly centered, and you know what? I'd take any card from this set or any old card, from the 40s in this condition in a 2. I'd buy it all day long, every day. No problem. For the right price and centering on these, there's just so much more to consider when the card gets older and older. And I won't deny that. The tops are the things I'm going for center because they're possible. And the price doesn't jump $8 billion for a centered version versus another one. So let me get another card going. I'm just so fired up after that first card. I need a little drink. You know what? Intermission is this. I'm going to cover these two things, but I want to talk about this cup really fast. A couple guys know me for when I take a sip out of this. I either have soda water or I have an adult beverage in here. 50-50. And I bought this cup is full blown, has so much, look, it's got rust on it. So much meaning to me. I bought this cup before I moved where I live now, but I bought it knowing 3 years prior, knowing that I was gonna move, and I was with my wife, and we were at a store, and I go, whoa, that thing's sick. That's a perfect cocktail cup. It was the almighty cocktail cup, and I've had it to this day. I want to say I've had it for 7 years. I'm going to ask my wife the exact story if she remembers. Could be, it can't be 7 years. No, it's 12. Oh wow, I've been married for 12 years. I've been married for 10 or 12 years. Oh my God, I even have to ask. She'll be cool with it. So it's 10 or 12 years old now I think about it. Holy smokes. So I've had that thing. That thing has gone everywhere with me when I have drinks. If I'm having a drink, and even if it's soda water I put in here as well, because it's the same type of thing. Every night I pretty much fill that thing up. Soda water. And I drink out of that. So I wanted to share the story of the almighty cup. And I'm covering where we live and stuff. But this is my wife's art and stickers I've had on here for years. And they're all over the sides. But, oh man. So side note on that, I thought I'd share it. I love that cup. And I guess, you guys hear the sound of this. It's becoming part of my shows. So the next off-centered card, shout out to Lou Rock TV, OC cards need love too. One of my favorite cards in my collection. I'm not saying this won't ever leave. I want to say this is my first Jackie Robinson card I ever purchased. But I also want to say it's my second. There were times in life, just like right now, I'm in card overload, buying card overload. And there were years where I went buying card overload. And then years where I slowed down. And I was buying packs. And this is one of those times where I was I need Jackie Robinson. So I don't know how many I bought in that moment. I have a couple that I think are within this, and I've sold a few. But this card in particular, it's a BVG, 5.5. It's Mr. Softy on the corners, but the card's really beautiful. I think this thing cost me $250 when I bought it. It was in the $200 range, and I think this card would go well higher than that. Would it grade higher sent to PSA? It'd probably be a 4, but it would be a stunning 4 because of the image, centering, off-centered, top to bottom, little off-centered, side to side. 54s are one of those sets I'm not willing to give anymore. I wouldn't buy this card today, but I also am not willing to sell this card. if I come across a perfectly centered 4 in the right eye appeal, yeah, I would buy it and then I would sell this, regardless of how long I've had this card. I've never touched the cardboard itself. And I still have the story, and I know I have the videos. So this card is just magical. 1954 Jackie Robinson. I mean, you could easily say this is his best looking baseball card ever. Easily. You could say that about every single one of Jackie Robinson's cards. He's one of those guys, and he didn't have that many cards. At least, I mean, you could say a few aren't, my favorite, I guess, but I mean, he doesn't have a bad Topps card, that's for sure. I mean, he really doesn't have a bad card at all. Jackie Robinson. So I've shared that one before. I probably shared the other one too, but I want to show you guys again. Man, I want to put this up like a little differently here. I'll just throw that right there. I got a lot of cards to show. Put that right there. All right, next one I bought from my friend. You know what? Yeah, I'll show this one. So many cards I want to show. This next one I bought from my buddy Ernest. I bought this ungraded. And that's the Mickey Mantle 1955 Bowman, the TV series. I could look at this card just like you guys for hours on end when it's on my wall. When I bought it ungraded, I thought it was a 3, so accurately graded, and when I bought it, accurately priced. And I bought it from a friend of mine, and I think it's like the miscut style thing. But it's a really just like one of those special cardboard cards to me. My first Bowman Mickey Mantle, I know for a fact, besides the 89 Bowmans. And the TV set, actually it's the oldest mantle that I purchased up to this point. It was the oldest one as well. So, just an awesome baseball card all around. There's nothing about this card I don't love. My favorite thing about Bowman was these square names, like the ones that don't have it. I don't love as much as the ones that do. It just, for me, it just pops. It just Mantle. It just takes you to a place as you're a kid and you see a Mickey Mantle and that's it. Oh, awesome baseball card right there. I won't ever sell that card. I literally won't ever sell that card. I'm not going to I'm not even going to replace it. I'm not going to buy another one that looks better or better centered and even have a double. That's my one and only 55 Bowman Mantle I'm ever going to own. Guaranteed. You could write that one down in the books. His next card is like one of the highest graded ever in history. I think there's 6 graded this, and that's it. And maybe a 9 that's not off-centered, but that's the Duke Snyder 1950 Bowman, and this is a 9 OC. Beautiful baseball card. One that I bought during the pandemic, during the peak of modern cards. It wasn't the peak of vintage. Vintage took off later, much later in that whole rally thing. But I remember paying like $295 or something like this. I've showed this in a video before. But the reason I actually looked up, because I looked up the serial number, and the price was on there what the guy paid before. And it was like $550 for this card, and that had been like 2017 or something. Like, you could look up the serial number and get the information. As obviously, I don't know, it was 2017, 19, 15, something like that. But I'm like, well, okay, well, I got a price in my head that I'll pay for this, and it was $200 and I think it was like $300 something that I put in, and I got it for $2 something, and I love this card. I'm never gonna sell it. I'm never gonna try for a dead centered one, although a dead center one in my eyes would look better, this thing, but this is like one of those like unicorns that don't exist in the world. A 1950 Bowman card that looks like, it's one thing having a card pulled from Topps that looks like it came in a pack, and there's another thing from 1950 Bowman to have a card that looks like it's fake. I don't want my cards to look fake, but this is one that I'll keep. And I think the price I paid, like during the card peaks of the world and things were going crazy, I think I could definitely get more than what I paid for it. and with the notation of the OC. I don't care. The labels never have bothered me. I was collecting OCs like crazy before. That never bothered me. Never once. I always still looked at the card. I just love it. I love what's going on in the background. It's just a beautiful card. So, all right, there's that one. Let's see, put that one like that. Bingo. All right, next one is one that I've shared before. And it's a card that it's just it looks like it came from a pack yesterday. There's a little scratch on the case, but that's a little scratch on the case right there. But look at this Bob Gibson 1959 Topps rookie card. Just another awesome baseball cards. I have shared this before, I know, but I'll share it again. I love the cartoon on the back. It's shooting bullseyes all day, every day. And this is an 8OC. Old school. Looks like, let's see if I can focus way in there. Put it in a pack, pull it out of a 2023 hobby box. That's what it looks like. But I don't want to go collecting all these. I bought tons of these in the past. I collected these. A centered card in a 4 to me is still going to look better than this displayed. But I'm not willing to give this one up because I think it's one of those diamonds in the rough. Give me the notion, OC. That's fine. I don't care. Love it. Love that card. And if I find a dead centered one that is crispy and nice and supersedes that in my mind, then all day long I will sell that. And I'll sell it for a premium because that is a premium card, regardless of the centering. All right. Let me see. We got the big boy here. My favorite off-centered card in my entire collection. And it's the most beautiful card. One of the sickest cards in the world. Pepino Man's favorite card, Mickey Mantle card. And that is the 1956 Topps. Mickey Mantle MVP season, the fake baseball in the glove. This is off-centered, top to bottom, little bit side to side. This is an 8OC. And it's stunning. Now, I've put this up for sale before, and I had $5,500, I think, buy it now. And then I had offers of over $4,000, and, you could be like, dude, you should have taken it. Yeah, maybe, but I had my mind set on $4,500, and I think I got to $4,300 was an offer, my highest offer, and I didn't take it. And that's about a 6 price when I was selling this. I don't know what they go for now, but to me, this looked better than, all the 6s except for the dead centered 6s. But the dead centered 6s are going to go for like $6,000 to $7,000, I bet. And I decided to pull it down and just keep it. And I'm like, dude, it looks so good, and I'm not willing to take the giant hit on, how when you sell an expensive card on eBay, you're going to pay a lot. And this is one of those cards, just like that Gibson, one of those cards that you could pull in a pack in 2024 and be like, it would just blend in. You would just be like, okay, just grab that card. I mean, it is really nice. Would I take a 4 dead centered and money in my pocket and a perfect image like this? Absolutely. With a little corner wear, hands down. And if that happens in the flesh, I find one, and I will make a move. But I'm not like, these aren't easy to come by. Adam Vintage Sanctuary has a couple sick ones, one in particular, and then Maddie C on Instagram has a really pretty one that I was like, whoo, that's nice. So, Mantle 56 Topps. There we go. Right there. Just an awesome, awesome, oh, huge run of baseball cards. Okay, that's the last off-center card I'm gonna share of the night. That is like that I know like, you know, this is an off-centered video. Well, this is my VR for this is off-center too, actually. Eddie's Cardboard Chaos, dude. Just want to support my friend Eddie. He's been in this room where I'm speaking right now, showing cards. He's hung out with me. He's doing a VR and he wants to know stories. And so I told you guys before, Sam Rice, look his story up. It's amazing, but if you don't want to look his story up, just go on John 380's Kid. I will put the tag in this video and you can just click on it and check it out. He does a great job of telling the story and he doesn't show this Gaudy card. Now, I know there's a little mark there, but this is when I just wanted to get his card so bad. And I just said, okay, I'm just going to find one that's nice and buy it. This is before I was crazy picky on anything. I will love to upgrade this one day and have one without that mark. A lot of them have that mark, but there's plenty that don't. Sam Rice, 1933 Gaudy. One of my favorite sets of all time in history. Maybe my favorite of all time in history. That and the Heads Up and the Sports Kings. Besides Topps. Okay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more cards to show you guys. And these are just like the coolest cards ever. It goes into my Matsui, my Hideki Matsui collection, which I spent $350 on. These are more cards from that initial binge. And I have more to show you that I just got, but I wanted to show you guys a few at a time. But first, I wanted to show another card in my collection that just goes down that collection aspect. And I can't stop looking at it. I've looked at it since I purchased it at the National. I am obsessed with it. It's my favorite card I picked up at the National. More favorite than my 52. I mean, I love my 52 Bowman Mantle. I love my Duke Kanamoku. I love a lot of cards I purchased, but for some reason, this one, I look at it on my wall all the time, and it supersedes my eyeball time over all the other ones. And that's a Sadahara O 1961. And it's a plain card. It's probably one of those from like a souvenir shop. But what's awesome about this card, which I've talked about it so many times, I've shared this card, is he's the home run king. And this is on a king's card, like king of clubs. Like this guy was clubbing home runs left and right. Over 800 home runs. And what is really cool about this card is I bought this from Robert from Prestige Auctions at the National, and I was walking to his booth, looking at his stuff, and then he goes, hey, Dylan, I watch your videos. I've said this story before, but I'll say it again. It blew my mind that a dealer knew who I was and reached out and said hi, and I was looking at his cards, and I had already bought a couple Sadahara O's. I was already collecting him, and this thing stuck out like a sore thumb. And then later, after I did a video on it, brought home and did a video, Dom, Staven Sports Cards, one of my buddies who was with me, either he like looked up the pop report or I finally did, or he mentioned it. Hey, what's the pop report? Something like that. I looked up the pop report and I looked it up and this is the only one ever graded. Does that mean this thing's rare? No. But no one else has graded it. Is there 7,000 people with this set in their, game drawer at home? Maybe. But this card to me is, I would literally rank this in the top 7 all-time baseball cards in my entire collection. One that will never, ever leave my collection. And this cost like all of $100. I spent $150 and I got another card with it. Just a marvelous card. Just everything about that card is what I love about baseball cards. So I have 4 more. My phone's about to die. Hold on, because I can't pause it. I'm just going to go run and get my cord. So I realized that I hit up Pepino Man and I'm like, dude, how do you pause it and then still go where you're at? Well, he has a different type of phone as me. I have the iPhone, and I haven't figured out it doesn't let you pause it and then keep going where you're at. Once you pause it, you have to make a whole new video and put it in iTunes, and that is like not what I like to do. So, okay, I'm plugged in. Yes, stove. Okay, let me have a sip of this. I have, you know, I'm gonna just show you three of these of my favorite baseball cards I purchased this entire year, which is crazy to say, but it really is true. I'm not kidding you. Oh man, I want to show that one last because it's so insane. All right, this one right here, just an absolutely outstanding, insane Hideki Matsui Topps Heritage. Now I don't have I entered it. I just need to make the logo. This is the black version. These were like 1 in like 200 and something packs. This thing's numbered out of 50, 42 of 52, and 52 standing for the 1952 Bowman set, which this represents. And it's just, I mean, dude, there's only 50 of these in the world. And I know that sounds just silly, and they stamp everything. You know what? Dude, I was buying cards in the 2000s, and they didn't stamp everything, except in like Topps Milestone and a couple sets. They stamped literally everything. But this is like one of those sets, Heritage, that lasts on and on and on and still going. And to have one numbered, I paid like 15 to 17 bucks for this. And it fits right next to my vintage cards if I want to put it next to them. And right next to Sadahara O. And it's just a really sick card. Really sick card. Goes in my one-touch collection. And I got all my Comp Cs from jail. Shout out to Eric. Those back pages, I know he puts them in there. You know, they're in jail. And I released them from jail. Never used Comp C before. I was always buying from Comp C on eBay. And just putting a bunch in the cart, and then you get free shipping. Rather than going on Comp C itself. Because the Comp C itself is kind of like the devil, and I knew it would be. Because it's like sitting on your shoulder going, oh, dude, just deposit another 50 bucks. And you're like, you get in there, next thing you know, you're like, deposit another 100. And by the end, you're like 250 bucks in. And you're like, dude, I wasn't even supposed to buy this card. And that, what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you a card that happened with. I was depositing a certain amount into my account to buy Matsui cards. Like out of that 350 bucks, you know, online, eBay and everything, a lot of it went to Comp C. This next card was at eBay, and he wanted like 150, and then he lowered. I had been watching it for a while, a couple months or something like that, and then he lowered it to 100, and then he sent in an offer. Maybe the offer was 100, something like that, and I sent him an offer back. Once someone sends an offer, I'm like, dude, of course I'm going to send an offer back. Whether I accept the original or not, most of the time I'm going to send something back. 2007 Bowman Chrome, I've talked about it before. I was buying loads of this stuff. Me and my buddy Danny, I have a Super Refractor graded PSA 10 Super Refractor autograph rookie card from this set that my friend Danny pulled while I was with him. We were buying the boxes together at Frank & Sons. So to get this card in a buyback set, Topps Archive 2021, get this on eBay, and I spent 50 bucks on it, 45 bucks, 50 bucks on this. Hideki Matsui autographed 2007 Bowman Chrome Refractor, restamped 1 of 1, is like the ultimate. This is my favorite. This supersedes the Pokemon Hideki card now. This is my all-time favorite Hideki Matsui Godzilla baseball card. Autograph. Look at how cool that is. 1 of 1. From a set that I was obsessed with. Dude, pulling a gold out of these, you had to like buy a case. And then this thing just like known that it was pulled and then bought back by Topps and then stamped 1 of 1. And it's already refractor. 1 every pack, refractors back then, but that's still 1 every pack. 36 cards in 36 packs in a box or something like that, give or take. And then there's like a whole crap ton of cards, however many there are, hundreds, the odds of getting the card itself is tough. I think I had like 5 of these up for sale on eBay. That's how many boxes I bought back then, like cases. So, I just love it. Oh my gosh, that's an awesome card. Put that right there. Put it right there. Last card of the night. This takes another one of my sips from my glorious mug / whatever it is. This card right here, man, I don't have the other ones to share with it. I'm just showing this one solo. You guys know I'm going after these cards. They're super, super, I'll say rare. There's only 50 of these in the world, but I'll also say just hard to find. And this is a 2010 Topps Chrome Gold Refractor base card. Mickey Mantle had base cards. Along with all the other people playing in the major leagues, he had a base card every year for a few years. And I talked about the story a million times. And I'm trying to collect all the hardest versions to find. I have 2 Topps Gold Refractors. I haven't looked up how many there are as far as like what years they did these in, but there's not many. So I don't expect to have to find a whole bunch of these. But I have 2 now from 2 different years. And this one was on Comp C, and that's when the devil kicked in on my shoulder and goes, "Dude, just deposit another 100." Well, the guy it was on eBay for a long time for 175 or something, or 275, I don't know. And then since I was on Comp C, I threw an offer out, and then we came to a final conclusion at $120. And I graded this a 6, and as did he. He graded it a 6 himself. It has a curve to it, which most of these 2010 cards do. And it has a little scratch on it. But the rarity is in the card. So I don't care that it has a little bow to it, whether that affects the grade. I actually have no idea. But the card itself, the image, it's just sick. I should have taken it out of the sleeve, full effect. But now I have 2. And I'm really proud of it. So that's what I got, you guys. Like, that's it. That's what I want to share with you guys. Just some more really cool baseball cards. Hope you guys enjoyed. And let me put this in. Drew, Clean Cheap Shots slab. Thank you, Drew. Love that thing. Hooked up with Drew at the National. Saw him there, met him, and he handed me that. First time I met him. Custom-made home plate PSA graded slab holder. I was like, that's awesome! So thank you, Drew. And he's given me so many cool things since. Okay, thanks, everyone. Check out everybody I mentioned this channel. Love baseball cards. Keep collecting, guys. Okay, don't be influenced. Be inspired. You.